When you say doxed, there is fear of public sharing of your name and possibly targeting.
Absolutely.
By who?
Doge members, including Elon Musk.
All right, things are getting crazy. Less than 24 hours after the Super Bowl, Elon Musk has posted that the Doge team just discovered that FEMA sent $59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal migrants, which, by the way...
This is why people wanted Democrats out of the office. And it's like, they only been out of there like 3 weeks, but the stuff you see coming out of there, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
59 million to house illegal immigrants when the American people's out here struggling and can barely afford to buy eggs right now.
Barely afford to buy
And
eggs.
they living in luxury.
And at the same time, like, wasn't this big thing going on where they were supposed to be grabbing up illegals? So you're grabbing them up and housing them, like, at the same time. At the same time.
Trump trying to get them out. Y'all trying to keep them in luxury so they want to stay. But why the American people, we're not living in luxury.
Yeah, it's
So
horrible
why
out
they
here.
keep saying, let's put America first again.
Need to.
is fully illegal due to Donald Trump's executive
damn near
orders and
$10.
so on.
Yeah.
So in this video, we are going over all of the most recent meltdowns and news updates surrounding Elon Musk, illegal immigrants, and so on. So before we start, please, please, please like this video.
Like
it
the
helps out so
video.
much so
Facts.
others don't miss these videos as
Facts.
well. Let us continue.
As it pertains to Democrats, Democrats have had every opportunity to come to the table to offer a solution to cutting government spending. Once upon a time, they actually believed in that.
Facts.
Instead, all I have heard is whining, complaining about
Yeah.
what Trump is doing, what Elon Musk is doing. The American people every single month, Dan, has to balance their budgets. They have to see how much money they can afford to pay for certain things and how much they have to cut back.
Yes.
Why shouldn't the federal government do the same? You would think that my Democratic friends would agree with that.
This is a perfect place to start.
Facts. That's what we were saying. We don't understand why people got such a big problem with Elon Musk going through everything. Let's get rid of the fact, the extra spending that's not needed. Do we really right now need to be giving $59 million to illegal immigrants right now? That's why we want him to go through line by line, and day by day more and more is coming out, and we just like, he was definitely the man for
Let
the
him
job.
do what he's doing.
And like he said, the Democrats could have came up with solutions. They never came up with solutions, and now that somebody's coming up with solutions, you're just complaining the whole time about the solution that's being came up with.
There is a difference between a solution and a Band-Aid.
Right.
And that's what we've been having. We've
Yeah.
been patching up everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it started to bleed out.
Yeah, it's like a shit when you plug it in one hole and then more holes are just popping up
Yeah.
everywhere, and it's like,
We need to put a tourniquet on that thing.
yeah.
Do the same. You would think that my Democratic friends would agree with that.
Facts.
This is a perfect place to start, and I'm going to be honest with you, I agree with this news anchor. I am just as confused as everyone else as to why are people so upset that we are finally exposing our money, tax dollars,
Yeah.
have been wasted this
worked hard
whole
for.
time behind
That we
closed
worked hard
doors,
for.
and I would love to know where all of our money is going.
Facts.
Why are
I
people...
want to know where the anger is coming from.
It's coming from
I
that.
want to know where the anger is coming from. Everybody's been complaining about money being spent wrongly.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, this is why the money's being spent wrongly. This
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
This is another problem.
Yeah.
What's the complaint? That's what you wanted.
They're complaining about it because stuff is getting done, stuff is getting fixed, stuff is getting exposed. Trump approval number is going up. And at this point, they don't know what to do. They're lost right now. They don't have any leaders. If you think about the Democrat Party and their leadership, who do you think of? There's no one that's coming up young that you're going to be like vibrant. None of that. It's the same old people that been there since I've been alive.
With the same old ideologies.
Taking us nowhere fast.
people so upset about that? Leave your comments down below if you have the answer.
Sunday. And here's a reminder that Donald Trump
starting to
has
hate
done
her.
pretty much nothing to lower your grocery costs. Remember, during Donald Trump's campaign, he repeatedly promised to lower food prices immediately. He said on day one. But here we are, way past day one.
I swear, when I make
See, this is like part of the propaganda. I personally heard Trump when he said, yo, it's going to take me a little while with the food. It's not going to be that easy.
Nothing
I heard
happens
him
overnight.
personally say it. So if I heard him say it, I know that you say it, but it don't fit your story. It don't fit what you're trying to put out there.
It's not like he's going to Acme or Piggly Wiggly or Heb. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to the market and be like, Lower the price.
Yeah.
He's looking at the farms.
Yeah.
We got bird flu on, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta start adjusting things at the top and
Yeah.
they trickle down.
Yeah, that's how it works. The good thing about that, we was just talking a couple of days ago. I think, yeah, a couple of days ago, and I was bringing out the fact. I'm like, yo, since Trump in office, I didn't notice I got an extra couple dollars in my pocket now.
Yeah, you start seeing it little by little.
We had this conversation.
But here we are, way past day one.
I swear, when I make these videos,
And the fact that these people was just in power and didn't do nothing about the grocery prices, and now you're trying
Nothing
now
about the gorging gas prices.
now you're trying to put it on Trump, and y'all the reason the prices is high.
Everything spiked.
They wasn't high when Trump left office. They got high when y'all got in office, and they like clean up our mess.
Yeah. You don't see how dirty the floor is?
I am not trying to make left-leaning political figures or left-leaning media look the way they are. They are the ones posting these silly videos and these silly talking points that nobody is buying. They are the ones doing it, and they are not addressing the serious situations that we all want to know what's going on, especially with USAID.
Trump is like the 80-20 president. He gets on the right side of all these 80-20 issues. Democrats knee-jerk and take the 20. And then what happens? Today, CBS News poll this morning, Donald Trump sitting at a 53% approval rating, the highest he's ever recorded in that survey. Why? Because Democrats are taking the wrong side of all of these obvious issues, number one. And number two, they're giving him an enormous amount of latitude to move fast and break things.
I want you guys to
move fast, break things. The way things wasn't working, break it. Let's start over.
Joe Clark with his bat.
Yeah. We know what's going to happen if we go this way. We've been going this way forever and getting nowhere fast. Let's try something different.
Enormous amount of latitude to move fast and break things.
Fact.
I want you guys to take this information and put it in your back
ABC
pocket.
News.
Because the next time somebody says, nobody likes Donald Trump or I can't stand Donald Trump, ABC News is a left-leaning news publication.
Yeah.
So when they are saying that Donald Trump has a very high approval rating, make sure you tell that person or whoever's trying to challenge you, by the way, ABC News is even saying Donald Trump is liked.
You could
and
take
the
that to the
majority
bank.
of Americans actually really like what Donald Trump is doing.
Facts.
The idea of deporting those in the country illegally continues to be popular. We saw that in the campaign. Sending troops to the U.S.-Mexico border, again, majority in favor. We'd seen that in the campaign. For his supporters in...
I don't even see how 36 people could disapprove of him securing the borders. Like, I thought the number actually be a little bit higher than that, because who want to open borders where drugs and criminals could just walk in?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's when I think damn near the whole country is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild when you see the numbers, though.
In particular, the focus on ending DEI is popular.
So the thing that's actually really interesting about Donald Trump is that typically with a president, things start to plateau and go down by this point by a little bit. But it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
Things are going up as far as approval ratings with Donald Trump. So that is why the magnitude of this situation is actually quite large and very scary for Democrats, because Republicans love what Donald Trump is doing and conservatives as a whole.
We are witnessing is a...
It's like people like what he's doing because we never seen no one move this fast or really start getting stuff done. A lot of the times when people run on stuff, you might see a little bit the first year, a little bit the second year, a little bit the third year, a little bit of the fourth year. You never see somebody the first 3 weeks just coming out the gate. Everything I said I'm doing it quick.
Honestly, it's really the best way to move, because before they get caught up in the world as it occurs, because stuff is constantly thrown on his desk in front of him.
So let's take care of this.
So let me get all this stuff out of the way that I'm thinking about now before I'm not thinking about it. And it's swept under the rug.
Yeah, good point.
Constitutional crisis. We are seeing an executive branch that has decided that they are no longer going to abide by the Constitution in honoring Congress's role in the creation of the agencies, in their role in deciding where money is allocated.
One thing you may have noticed is that there are certain Democrats who are
pretty much his thing too. He's flexing his power. He was like, I'll be damned if I want to do this and I got to go through you guys and y'all break it down and say no under these conditions, and it ends up being the total opposite of what I put in front of you. I'm just going to sign off.
Yeah, and at this point, the Democrats have no leverage.
And that's what he's doing. He's just executive order,
Yeah.
executive order.
They got all three branches of the government in the White House. There's nothing nobody could do on the Democratic side but make videos and cry because they have all the power on their side. They can get stuff done. And that's what we wanted to see. And that's what I was disappointed in the Democrats, because the Democrats had the same thing, all three branches in the White House, and they wasn't getting nothing done. You see what happens when he got it, and stuff is moving like this.
Sticking out more than others, like Elizabeth Warren and Congresswoman Omar. She keeps going on these TV shows talking about the situation, saying all of this is illegal, even though Doge is a third party and is not a part.
One of the big things that people get confused about is they're quick to say abuse of power, but a use of power is different than an abuse of power.
Definitely.
As opposed to not using the power that you have in your hand.
Yeah.
Can be just as detrimental.
Yeah, and that's all. It seemed like that's all we've been seeing is people just not using the power,
not using the power,
wanting to use the power, or getting lobbied.
I wonder what people are gonna think about me if I use the power.
I think it was more like people just was taking money, so they just was doing whatever the people that was paying them to do, and just doing what they wanted to do, and forgetting American people are more worried about their bank account and their bottom lines.
Part of the executive branch.
They get billions and billions of dollars, and they use that money to then infiltrate corporate America, to then infiltrate the public sector, to then resettle, for example,
to
taxpayer spends millions of illegal aliens into this country. And so what we've learned is that the left's, this mammoth left-wing power structure, plus left-wing media, wasn't organic. It wasn't created naturally. It was funded by taxpayer dollars.
Now look, Stephen Miller, he gets very...
That is just awful. Like, they took our taxpayer money to give us propaganda to think they was something that they wasn't. Instead of helping the people out, you just were trying to help yourselves out.
Yeah, because as long as the people's minds are occupied, they're not worried about the things that they should be worried about.
Right.
And at least not while they have any influence over any of those things. By the time it gets to the people, it's already done.
Yeah, it's finished.
Very aggressive on TV. He's very passionate about wanting to help the American public. But again, the main theme, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are a Democrat or left-leaning media, why are you not looking at this story and you are very upset? Right. You are confused. You are angry. Why are you not like, hey, what is going on? Why is USAID doing the things they're doing behind closed doors?
Our
suggestion that he shut down FEMA entirely. Can and should Donald Trump shut it down?
He can, and I believe that he will do that evaluation with his team, and he's talking about it, which I'm grateful for. He'll work with Congress, though, to make sure that it's done correctly and that we're still there to help folks who have a terrible disaster or crisis in their life. He's been very clear that he still believes.
It's like, all right, we had two big natural causes happen recently. The fires in LA's. There was another one. I think some got flooded or... It was two big disasters, but FEMA wasn't there. Something happened in North Carolina. I can't think off the top of my head. But where was FEMA? I just know they just sent them people like $700 or something, and that was just like the end of that. So, I mean, I think everything need to be looked at because the way stuff's supposed to have been working, it's not working that way.
Well, there's always supposed to be some type of contingency plan. There's supposed to be people on foot in the location, and as you need help, they send them in to you.
Right.
But that's not what's being done.
Nah, not at all.
Because every disaster I've heard recently, the people on site are saying not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough water.
Not enough anything.
Not enough food.
Not enough anything.
Not enough money being spent. Yeah. Everybody's saying the same thing. So
only people that's saying it's not that are not saying that it's not enough is illegal immigrants that live in luxury hotels.
Yeah,
that's about it.
There's a role for the federal government to come in and help people get back up on their feet, but
$700
fraud and waste.
Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do with that.
And since President Trump has taken over and come back into this administration, we've seen incredible changes.
What's your
at FEMA
recommendation,
already.
Just a quick disclaimer so you guys know I'm not deceiving you. This clip came out before Elon Musk exposed that FEMA was housing illegal migrants in luxury hotels within New York City, just so you are aware.
It's crazy.
But nonetheless, Donald Trump has been very consistent about the fraud and waste, specifically of FEMA, which is wild. I don't think anyone ever expected that Donald Trump or anyone would be targeting FEMA, exposing them, and seeing, look, we have some flaws with this organization, and we're either going to get rid of FEMA or we are going to reorganize how FEMA works, reforming it, basically.
Right. That I and the local county emergency management directors, the mayors, the city councils, and the county commissioners, they made way better decisions than the people in Washington, D.C.
Because they're right there.
They're right there.
They're right there. They know what the people need. Like, it's not a call in. It's not a video call.
Yeah.
They are on the ground.
Yeah.
Looking at the areas that are normally beautiful, being just totally decimated.
Yeah.
And this needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. Because they're in tune with the people.
And they're in tune with what's going on in that state. They probably were raised there, went to school there, got family there, know all the ins and outs into it. Somebody in Washington probably only been there once or twice in their whole life. How they really gonna?
Yeah, they might get there and say, "What's so bad?"
Yeah, it's crazy.
To you and said, "You're my DHS secretary. Do you think I should get rid of FEMA?" Excuse me, get rid of FEMA. What would you say?
I would say yes, get rid of FEMA the way it exists today. We still need the resources and the funds and the finances to go to people that have these types of disasters like Hurricane Helene and the fires in California.
That's what I'm talking
but
about.
you need to let the local officials make the decisions on how that is deployed so it can be deployed much quicker, and we don't need this bureaucracy that's picking and choosing winners.
You mentioned
Let me know how you guys feel about this. Again, I think what's happening in the United States is that we forget Donald Trump, it's not that he can do whatever he wants, but he can kind of do whatever he wants, especially that he has Republicans controlling Congress and Senate. And I've actually dealt with FEMA myself. My house was flooded, and we had some mixed opinions on FEMA. They helped out, but there was definitely a disconnect of like, okay, who are these like federal agents walking up on our small town and telling us what to do?
Right.
And I think there was some confusion even back in 2011 when I dealt with FEMA and lost everything I had. So again, let me know how you guys feel about all of this.
He is acting on behalf of himself. And I think people should be very scared about that.
You're terrified that the...
What did he do is acting on himself that we've seen so far?
That's what I want to get to. Like, these allegations, when you say stuff like that, you gotta have some facts to support that.
Right.
Because you're just bashing the man because you don't like him.
Yeah, he just making.
You don't like the way he's doing things, but he's doing something.
Yeah, how is getting rid of FEMA helping him? How is getting rid of the Department of Education helping him? How's all this him going and finding all this fraud helping him? Nothing he's done is helping him.
Pointing out misspending of $50+ million.
How's that helping?
How is that helping him?
They found that it was $1.5 billion had went out to deceased people that are no longer alive.
Deceased people, dead people getting checks
and they're getting cash
and they're cashing them.
And then they say, "Oh, he's doing this for himself." Don't make sense.
Good luck.
On behalf of himself. And I think people should be very scared about that.
You're terrified that the FBI might have the internet? I mean,
I'm terrified.
I don't
I'm
understand.
Good one. That was a good one.
That was a hell of a good one.
Terrified the FBI might have the internet.
Terrified that the FBI might have the internet? I mean,
I'm terrified that Elon Musk is putting people in federal agencies to figure out business opportunities for him.
I think
and
it's
you know
overblown.
that's true,
This
Scott.
is the richest man in the world.
Yeah,
This man,
you don't need the money.
That's concerning.
And he's like sleeping on a on the floor of a
That's his
government office
MO.
building
That's
7
what he
days
does
a
when he
week
breaks
in
all
order to help this government.
If you are unaware, it's being reported.
Trump said time and time again, Elon Musk has zero to gain from the position that I put him in. Everything he's doing because he care about the people. He care about the way he's spending. And he feel like, yo, I could be a positive to your campaign in this way, in your administration this way. And this is how I'm going to help you out. And he's a
because the only thing that moves me at this point is things being better.
Yeah, that's what we all want to say.
That's what he's working on, things being better.
The last 4 years has been horrible. People want to see a change.
that Elon Musk is so fixated on trying to expose the waste, fraud, and spending that he is sleeping like on a cot or on the floor of a government building in Washington, D.C. It goes to show, even though he's the world's richest man, he's very passionate about the mission and task that was given to him.
Yeah.
The spending is interesting. We're not going to balance the budget based on these spending cuts, although some of this stuff is patently, objectively ridiculous.
Yeah.
And when I see Democrats rushing out to defend some of the things that, that he's cutting, I mean, it makes the Democratic Party sink to very low levels.
Yeah.
But what I see him actually doing, and the most important thing he's doing, is enforcing the doctrine of common sense.
Yeah.
This was the doctrine that Trump laid out in his inaugural address. What is the ideology of the Republican Party right now? It is best described as enforcement of common sense. Right. We have uncommon nonsense on the left, and we have common sense. And when you look at what the government is doing, agency after agency, and spending some of our money, we're not going to balance it on a $79,000 grant here or there, but we are going to restore common sense, and that's the point.
And something else Scott Jennings is not talking about in this news segment, but he has in the past, that mathematically it's not going to work out for Donald Trump as far as the amount of deportations that are happening. So again, it looks like Donald Trump is more going for this common sense to show you guys we can get the job done even after myself. And we need to continue with the common sense and show the American public what's been happening. That way we can at least try to suppress the deficit, or at least try to help Americans first.
If Republicans were serious about balancing the budget, then they should put forward a tax package that doesn't explode the deficit. So if we want to have that conversation, we can have it.
Democrats
because
balance the budget
that's just not where the Republicans are.
You're for higher taxes.
But I think that
you want to continue.
I'm for a tax code that doesn't explode the deficit and actually benefits working people and business.
Out of the last 16 years, Democrats have been in power. 12 of them. You had plenty of opportunities to fix the deficit. Why did you not fix the deficit?
To keep spending.
It's crazy.
They keep spending. Yeah. I mean, it really just is what it is.
It's
like
that simple.
Even with when the car companies were about to fall, when Obama first came into office, it was a bailout.
Bail out the banks.
So you have a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
That's not how you fix it. It just patches it.
Yeah, keep reoccurring.
And then over time, those expenses will balloon again.
Yeah.
And then you end up here.
Right back in the same situation.
But no one remembers these things.
Yeah.
No one remembers these things. And they just sit there with the big, what's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Business and not just the richest people. Like, by the way,
let the Trump tax cuts expire?
Like Elon Musk, by the way.
We're working people benefit.
But I also
after
think
4
that's
years
why everybody was so bothered when he put his foot down.
Yeah.
To Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
With the tariffs.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all don't want to meet us halfway?
Yeah.
We're not gonna be the only one paying this high tariff.
Yeah.
Why you gonna meet us at 25% then?
Yeah, and
that's what we doing.
And the good thing about it, Democrats were complaining about the tariffs that he was putting on Canada and Mexico, and within 48 hours, we seen Canada and Mexico both put 10,000 troops on the borders.
They started working.
They did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah. This honor goes both ways.
Yeah.
Biden Harris? Absolutely not.
Do you know how ridiculous it is to be on TV or the internet and put any of the blame for the situation that is going on today on Donald Trump? He's literally only been the president for about 4 to 5 weeks now. So you need to stop with those arguments. Now, I understand that Democrats don't want to accept what happened with the Biden era and even really the Obama era. Yeah. But this is what's happening, and this is why I play these clips for you guys.
The next department that appears to be on the chopping block is the Department of Education. Just earlier today, Democratic members of Congress were blocked from entering the department's headquarters. Democratic lawmakers had met outside to protest Donald Trump and Elon Musk's plan to abolish the department entirely, as well as attempting to seek a meeting with the department's senior leadership. Lawmakers were not only blocked by security holding the front door.
All right, if you are still watching this video, I really appreciate it. I think this is a little teaser of what's to come as far as the next showdown between the United States government, Elon Musk, and the American people. Taking out the Department of Education is going to be a massive a very big deal, to say the least, because there's going to be a lot of misleading information. There's going to be a lot of exposing of what's going on, and I'm a little afraid to see what happens, because this right here could really be the dividing line as far as people who support Donald Trump, don't support Donald Trump, and people being utterly shocked of what's to come.
Attention on board. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please direct your attention out the right side of the aircraft.
Air Force One.
Air Force One is currently in international waters. For the first time in history,
Nice. That's a big chair.
renamed Gulf of America. Please enjoy the flight, and we are now about to head west.
Flying,
to Super Bowl 59.
flying
Oh,
over
to
for the
Super Bowl.
first time in an international waters over the Gulf of America.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. He said that. I forgot he changed the name.
I forgot about that too. But I was like, wow.
That's big. I think it's just a crazy situation. This is him on his way to the Super Bowl.
Wonderful desk.
Wow, he did that well.
He did that well.
my man Donnie is in the air.
Yeah.
Still working.
Still working with.
He's at the desk.
No days off.
Still signing off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
EO.
Stuff.
Executive order. Executive order.
Stuff still need to be done.
Make America great again.
Hey.
Okay, here we go.
Another one.
There we go.
Got another one.
Just wanted to show you guys that clip. I know things like this are not.
I think at this point something need to be done about Department of Education. I was watching a video that said, which I didn't know, the reason that college keep going higher and higher is because of the Department of Education, because they don't want to give out the loans, so they know whatever they charge, that the Department of Education is going to give them the money, so they have no reason to make the prices come down lower, because whatever they make the prices of, Department of Education will give out the loans to the students.
Yeah.
Regardless.
And those rates are crazy.
Yeah, so they were saying if you get rid of Department of Education, the colleges don't have a choice but to come down their prices,
Lower their loans,
because nobody will be able to pay it. And
Yeah,
once I
nobody will
heard
afford
that,
it.
I said it makes sense in everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It affects the whole in such a larger way than anybody can understand right now.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things. Unless it's affecting your pocket, you really don't get it.
Yeah.
You really don't get it.
And
or affecting the people you love.
Yeah, and I think that all is good. Like all this stuff is happening because we finding about more and more stuff like that. The reason that colleges is high and all that. I never knew that information because of all this stuff they doing and they got going on. People are actually learning this information.
See, I used to be the one to ask those questions. Well, who is giving out these rates then? That would be me in the office. Now, they would answer a lot of questions. Yes, you owe this. Yes, you owe that. Yes, you pay this. But they never answer that question.
Yeah. The Department of Education, they got their almost a right to steal. Whatever we charge is gonna get paid. So we just gonna keep charging higher and higher, which is a crazy situation. Before we get out to the video, if you didn't like, subscribe, or leave a comment, make sure you do that. Our next video is Tremaine Jones.
And it's Lamar Wilson.
And we out.